Hello everybody, welcome back. Crosstown Gamer here, and today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Falling Sky, the Gallic Revolt Against Caesar, Volume 6 in the Coin series. Here's a quick overview of what the map looks like at this juncture in the game. We've done a few cards, but I think we're nowhere near getting through all of them at this point in time, so this is going to be quite a lengthy series. For those that are in it for the long haul, I really appreciate it. And we will try to get moving a little faster, I think, going forward now that we've got all the heavy lifting out of the way. So, just a quick addendum, I guess, to what I'm about to say is I ended the last video with the subdued and dispersed plus allies at 15. I recounted, and we are actually at 16. I must have forgotten Britannia or some other thing. So we are at the victory condition, but again, since we're playing solo, then we have to wait until the end, the last winter card, to be able to actually win. So, moving right along, the next card that's up is going to be Dumnoric's Loyalists, and the Aedui are up first. In fact, they're the only eligible faction. If you recall, in the last video, there was some trickery with the eligibility of an event that was taking place that left us out of, or ineligible for through an NX card. So, we're going to play Dumnoric's Loyalists as the Aedui. So we move along to their flowchart, and they're first on the current card, so this is a no. They can definitely use the event by sequence of play, because they're first eligible. It has special instructions, so it's not a no Aedui or ineffective or anything. So we're going to check what those are and do the unshaded text of the event. So let me just open up this. And the unshaded version of the event is to replace any 4 warbands with Auxilia or Aedui warbands. They're going to do their own before they do Auxilia. So with Aedui warbands, then they free scout as if they were Auxilia. So replace any 4 warbands and then free scout. And Dumnoric's Loyalists, they're not going to move on the scout, and their priority is to do Arverni, then Belgae, then Germans last. Okay, so we have to figure out what a scout is, and a scout is a Roman thing. And what they'll do is they'll move any auxilia into adjacent regions, but remember the special instructions just said they're not going to move. And I imagine because the event text is going to take priority here, they're going to scout without having this condition that they need to be within one region of Caesar. I hope that's true. They just get to do it wherever. But they need it to any place with warbands, basically. And they're going to flip Hidden Auxilia to Revealed as desired. And for each one that they flip, they're going to place a scouted marker on up to 2 warbands in the same region. And so that's going to reveal them and place a scouted marker, which is basically like another level of revealed. So in order for them to become hidden again, they would have to first remove the scouted marker and then go back underground and hide. So the first thing we actually want to do, though, is replace 4 warbands with Auxilia, with Aedui warbands. So there are a lot of places on the map where that could happen. Anywhere where there's Arverni, anywhere where there's Belgae. Because the special instructions said for the scout to prioritize the Arverni, I think I'm just going to cut down a little bit of the overhead, and instead of checking for Arverni locations to where they would replace, I'm going to only consider places where the Arverni... Sorry, I think I said Arverni, but I meant Belgae. So anywhere where the Belgae are, we're not going to worry about because the event text said they're going to prioritize the scout for the Arverni. So we're going to actually prioritize also the rest of the card for the Arverni too. So anywhere where there are warbands, green places, it looks like there's 4 locations. 1, 2, 3, and 4. where there's a possibility that they could replace. And they want to do as many as possible, but they can do it from multiple regions. So if they pick this region and they did 2 here, they could do 2 from somewhere else. So I think what we're going to do, because there's no qualification that it needs to be within one region or anything like that. So I think we're going to go top to bottom here and have this be a 1, this be a 2, this be a 3, this be a 4, and we're going to roll. And if we get a 5 or a 6, we're going to re-roll it. 3. So it was 1, 2, 3. So they're going to go here and replace all 4 of these warbands off the map with their Edui counterparts. So just like that, they completely took over Mandubii. Then the second part is that they're going to free scout as if Auxilia. So in order to scout, they need to be coexisting with other warbands. It says they're prioritizing first Arverni, then Belgae, then Germans. So they're not doing Auxilia. And the only place where they're coexisting with anyone is down here in Provincia, but again, they're not prioritizing us, and down here in the Dragovia Arverni region. So it looks like even though they can, they could have free scouted, for example, if they replaced all of these over here and taken control, they could have scouted all 4 of the warbands that were there, but since they ended up replacing them anyway, they only get to do this kind of minimal action here. So the way it works is we're going to flip this over, and it's free because the card says it's free, to the revealed side, and by doing that, these get flipped to their revealed side as well, and then we'll place a scouted marker on each of them. I mean, I guess we can sort of do it like this, just one marker for 2, so we don't flood the board with unnecessary markers. But now, in order for them to become hidden again, they need to hide once to remove the scouted, and hide once more to flip. So that was their turn. I think we did everything on the card. So they're going to have played the event. We are going to adjust eligibility now and play the next card, Circumvallation. And Optimates, I don't know, Optimates is the next card. So Circumvallation, we're up first as the Romans, and we can free march into an adjacent citadel and put a marker, a circumvallation marker, and it looks like this. And the marked group may not move from the region, so we kind of force them to stay put, and then oh man, I think this was a really actually cool event, but in history. So then if they try to attack, then we get to defend even as though we have a fort there, even though we don't. There's not really anything super juicy that has a citadel. We could go over here, I guess, with all of our troops here, but then we'd be kind of abandoning them. I don't know. I mean, we just kind of need to tread water and keep around this level of victory. So I don't think going in here and wiping out this region is going to benefit us too much. I think the Arverni and the Belgae are going to be up here battling anyway. So we kind of want to keep our forces nearby in case Vercingetorix or Ambiorix decides to come a knockin'. So what we might want to do instead is rally, or it's not rally. It's not called rally. It's called recruit for us. Recruit so that we can get some more meat shields, auxilia, on the board. It's a real bummer that this region is under Belgic control for supply line regions, because I think the Aedui, normally we might be able to convince them of supply line to honor supply line for us. I guess we could if we went up through these regions. I have to check if the Adui are going to honor supply line to these. If they do, that's great because our recruit is going to be free. So 0 if within supply lines. But otherwise, it's going to be 2 resources per region. I want to do it up here because we have a lot of allies up here, and the Germans are going to try to attack us, and we have legions there. And I want to do it here because we have Caesar and an ally. And I also want to do it in Provincia because it's going to be free. We have a fort, and we get a bonus to recruiting there as well. So let me just double check on supply lines again. Okay, so just to show you in the rules real quick, they will agree to supply line if for the Romans, if any of these are true. Roman's a non-player, that's false. Roman player has a victory score of less than 10, false, we're at our victory condition. Or if it's 10, 11, or 12 and they roll a die of 1 through 4. So they're not going to agree to supply line, then that's okay. But we're still going to rally in those 3 regions. So it'll cost 2 regions per one that's not in supply line. And so we're going to do it in those 3 regions. So it'll be 2 4 resources. And we go down to 2. Everyone's really low, so I don't feel so bad because we can do a seize action later if it comes to it. And that will give us more resources. So in a regular region here, we get 1 per ally or fort, but we don't have any forts. So we get 2 auxilia here, and they always come in face down. Then over here, we get 1 for Caesar and 1 for the ally there for another 2. So we get 2 there. And down in Provincia, we get 1 for the fort and 1 because it's Provincia, we get a bonus for that. So another 2 there. And that was our recruit action. Now we can also build or scout. If we scout, that we might be able to scout against the Germans, and or we could scout down here in the Belgae region to prevent any ambushes. That might be okay. Or we could scout up here those German forces as well. So could be worth it. Oh, it needs to be within 1 region of Caesar. So we could only do the German one because the other ones are out of reach. Or we could build a fort. It will cost 2 resources if a fort is placed. But I think it's going to be worth it. Our last 2 resources, we're going to have to really make something happen here. But yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to place a fort. So it will be placed here, and that will cost us our last 2 resources. Okay, sitting there at 0, no good. And that was a command plus special ability. So now the Averni are up and on this circumvallation event, and they can do the event or they'll do the full command plus special ability. Remember again that the non-player, the bots, even though they get a limited command here, they get to do a full turn. It's part of their balancing. So let's check the Averni flowchart. Vercingetorix or 10 plus warband. So there's no 10 plus warbands where there are Romans. Yeah. Or greater than 3 plus pieces. So Vercingetorix, though, he is up here. Oh, no. So it's specific to where the Romans or the Aedui have these things. They're no longer in a place where that's valid. Up here it would be, but it's against the Belgae, so they're not going to battle. Can they use the event? They can, yes, but it is no Averni. It's got the clashed swords, daggers, whatever symbol, so that's a no Averni, which means a yes to this. Are there 0 through 8 warbands on the map, or rally would place 2 plus allies, citadels, or 6+ pieces. If they rallied here, that would place a ally, and they can't rally anywhere else to place an ally, so that's only one. And by the way, they have more than 8 warbands on the map. So I'm looking for places where they can add allies or places where they can add more pieces. How many pieces can they add? I believe they might get a bonus for Vercingetorix. So this would be at least 1, maybe 2. So 2, 3, 4. It looks like 4. Maybe 5. So I think that's also false. 0 through 5 allies plus citadels on map, or 6+ warbands available. Yeah, they have 4 allies on the map, and they also have 6+ warbands available. They have a ton, like an ocean of guys. So yes, they're going to march. Let's see. Yeah, interesting. It's like almost telling me like, oh, we might want to rally, but no, instead we're going to march. Okay. From the fewest regions able to, leaving one Arverni warband in each origin, lose no control. So they want to go 1 hidden Arverni in each region possible where there aren't any. So they want to take a bunch of people into a region where they don't have any people there. So they could move 1 warband from here, for example, into this region, and they would gain control of this region so that later they could put some more allied tribes down. I understand now. That wouldn't lose control because they still have 2 pieces there. Similarly, from here, they can go into any of these regions as well. So, and second, leader with warbands to replace 1 Aedui or Roman control, not Bibracti. Bibracti, I'm not sure where that is on the map. Oh, it's down here. So not this. Can they march to overthrow Roman control? Up here we have 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces, and the Arverni would be able to move in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they would not take over control. They would make us lose control though, because they would only be able to move in 6, but there's 5 Germans already there. So we would lose control, but they would not gain control. So it's to replace control, so they wouldn't be able to do it. And down here we actually have more units, so they're not going to do it there either. But this is possible to each region where possible, from the fewest regions. To each region possible where there are none. So I'm tripping over the words because it's like they want to do it from the fewest regions, but they want to go to the most regions possible. I get it. Yeah, so I think, like, for example, this region here, it could accept warbands from down here, or it could accept warbands from up here. This one also can go over here, though. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to add 1 hidden Arverni warband to each region possible, using the fewest regions possible, which is right here. Just 1 region to march in here and in here. That will give them control of both of those regions. And, oops, not a Dewey control. Perfect. And that will cost, I believe, 1 resource. Let me double check. Because of the origin region, there was only 1 resource per origin region, and it wasn't devastated, so that's just 1 resource there. They're going to move down to 1. Then for their special, within 1 region of most... Yeah, this is for this piece, but we're not going to do that piece. So then their special, they're going to devastate. So they're going to devastate if they're able to force the removal of a legion or 2 auxilia, or at least as many Roman and Aedui pieces. Now remember, with devastate, the Arverni remove 1 and 4. Every other faction removes 1 and 3 of their total warband, or like mobile forces. So, and I believe, yeah, it has to be within 1 region of Vercingetorix. So it has to be in a place that's Arverni controlled as well. So this is the only one that qualifies. And so in this region, the Belgae would remove 1 and 3 of their forces here, and they have 4, so this would be 1. So that's not 2. So where did it go? Here it is. They can't force the removal of a legion because there's only Belgae there, and they can't force the removal of 2 auxilia because that would only be 1, or at least as many Roman plus Aedui pieces as Arverni. There aren't any Roman or Aedui pieces there, so this whole box is a no. So if none, they're going to try to entreat. Entreat is going to cost 1 resource per region. They do have 1 resource left, so they are also going to end up on the skids here. So they're going to replace enemy allies with Arverni allies, first and foremost. So that's only if they have control, and again within 1 region of their successor would they be able to replace allies. That's true because they're able to do that because the Belgae do have an ally there, and that's on the spot with Arverni control, and Vercingetorix is there. So they can do that. They should be able to do more regions, so we would look through this priority to select other regions, but it's not necessary. We found one, and they would run out of resources otherwise. So it looks like what we're going to do then is pay our 1 resource, and then replace this with the Arverni one there. That will cause the Belgae to go down again. They're really struggling. And the othermost allies is now at 5 because the Arverni have 5 allies on the map. So no longer are, let's see, they have 5? Is that right? Yeah, must be. No longer are the Aedui capable of winning at this point, just based on their winning condition there. Sorry, words were failing me. Okay, so that was their special ability. We're going to adjust eligibility, and we are going to play the next card, Optimates. And hopefully we can cruise right on through this. It looks like these aren't events that those are interested in. So, oh, here we go. So this will be a good, we'll play this last card. This will be a good stopping point. So next video, we can go through the winter card and what that means. But let's see what happens. So the Aedui are going to be first eligible here. And we can go onto their chart. Now, the thing that we have to note is the winter card is showing. So on this card, we actually want to put this special marker down here, which says frost, and no one's allowed to march during a frost. So that's the trick there. No one can march, but we can do anything else. So this is false because the upcoming card's a winter card. They can play the event, yes, but it's a no Aedui event. So they're going to go down. They're going to battle where they could force the loss of an enemy leader, ally, citadel, or legion. The only place where they're in enemy territory at all is down here, and they only have half a point of loss, which would get rounded down to 0 and be halved anyway by the fort. So, or the citadel, sorry, it's not a fort. So this is a no. There are definitely more than 0 to 4 warbands on the map. Would rally place an ally, a citadel, or 3+ pieces? Man, they really want to put a thing here because then they would win. But I don't think they can because that region's devastated. They can't place anywhere else because the places where they have control are currently full. There's no room. So now let me just triple check here that you can't rally in a devastated region. Yep, regions without devastation. So they can't place that ally to win the game on the winter card. I should have been preparing for that. That was a close one. Like if that region wasn't devastated, then the Aedui would win and we would lose right then and there. So at least I believe so. Anyway, we have to check if they can rally up at least 3+ pieces. So they would get one here and one here, and they can't rally here, otherwise they would get 2 more. So that's actually not going to happen, which is honestly a little strange. So it's a no. Do they have 0 to 3 resources? Yes, they actually have 3 resources. And they roll a 1 through 4. So let's roll their die. They got a 4. So yes, they rolled a 1 through 4. They're going to raid. And as long as it would gain 2+ resources total, they're going to raid versus players at a 0+ victory margin, or ones that are winning. And they're going to then raid against other non-Roman enemies. And lastly, they're going to raid in non-devastated region versus no faction. So let's double check their raid, because I don't think we've done this yet. So raid is they're going to get to steal resources. They can only do it where they have hidden Aedui, which is only in places where they are like the only person there. There's no mixed forces. So that's okay. They're going to reveal 1 to 2 hidden per region. For each, either add 1 resource or take 1 resource from a faction there that has no citadel or fort. So they can't do this in a devastated region, but they can in other regions where they have 1 to 2 hidden warbands, and they're going to add +1 resource because normally they would take, but again, they're not in a location where they can take. So they could do it here, and they can do it here. They don't want to do it here because that's devastated. So they can't take from the land. They can steal still, but not from the land. So that does give them at least 2 resources because they get 1 resource per hidden that they flip. So they would get 3 resources here if they flipped all of those. So that's what they'll do. Otherwise, they'd pass. Passing before the winter card, not advisable. I don't think that's a good idea. So they're going to, again, flip these to get 2 resources. Flip this one to get a 3rd resource. 1, 2, 3. And then that was their command. They get a special ability. They can trade only if the Aedui battled or resources. So this is true because the Aedui plus Roman resources is less than 15. And the Aedui are second eligible, or trade would add 3+ resources. So I think the Romans would agree to a trade now. I think we would agree to that so long as the Aedui would grant us some of the trade income. and I can double check again how that exactly works. But for trade, basically anything that's in a supply line, which would be everything so long as we agreed to provide supply line, then the Adui are going to get a bunch of resources. They're going to get +2 for each ally and citadel and subdued tribe under their control. So I'm just trying to figure out. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 2 allies and 2 citadels there. And there's a subdued tribe. Oh, but that's not under Adui control. So they have 4 things, and it would be +2 resources, so that'd be 4 or 8 resources, 2 times 4. And then if the Romans agreed, so there's 2 situations that you have to take into account. There's 2 things that the Romans have to agree to. First, they have to agree to the supply line, and then second, they have to agree to the resources under for each Roman ally under Adui control. That isn't an issue. There aren't any Roman allies under Adui control, so we're just going to agree to the supply line, and let me double check on how that supply line is going to actually work. Okay, on second thought, the Adui non-player faction will never agree to transfer resources to the Roman player if their victory score is above 12. So if we granted them supply line, we would only be doing them a favor. And we wouldn't get any resources out of the deal. So that's not something I'm interested in doing then. So as far as trade goes, we are going to disagree to that. So this is going to be ineffective. So basically, if none, because they don't have any supply line into that region without going through us. So if none, they're going to Suborn. And Suborn requires a region with a hidden warband. And that is only in the Mandubii region. All the other regions... Oh, nope, down here as well. Uh-oh. That's unfortunate. Oh, I don't think they're going to affect us, basically. But they're going to place and or remove up to 3 pieces total there. At most, 1 can be an allied tribe. And it's going to cost them some resources for that. But they're going to Suborn in 1 region. Oh, to place an ally. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay. I think they're going to win the game. Okay. 1 region with a hidden Adui. Yeah, place and or remove. So it doesn't say anything about devastation. So what they're going to do is they're going to pay their 2 resources here in this 1 region, and they're going to get an allied tribe here. And so that'll cost them 2 resources. 1, 2. And then they also get to add in all the warbands that possible. So they're going to add in 2 more, because it's 3 pieces. We did 1 for the ally, and then they get 2 more warbands, each of them costing 1 resource there. I don't think that matters. So just a quick note, the Adui... Oh, okay. They're not gonna actually win yet. It has to exceed. I'm sorry. So the allied tribes and citadels needs to exceed each other's factions. So they have 5, but the other most ally has 5 as well. So they don't get to win unless they have more than that. Oh gosh, this game. Okay, so tense. That would have been the end right there, because the Belgae would have gone, but it probably wouldn't have mattered. And then the winter card, victory condition check, would have been the first thing. So anyway, that was their command and special ability. Let's do the same thing for the Belgae, and they are also at the crossed swords for that event, so they're not going to want to do it. Let's check on their chart. Zambiorix or 4+ warbands where non-German enemy has... Yeah, that's true in this region up here. They have 4 warbands, but I don't think they're going to actually battle because the losses would just be completely not make sense. They wouldn't. We're not even going to go down that path. So this is a no. Are the Belgae first on the upcoming card? No, it's a winter. So that's no. Can they use the event? Yes. But is it ineffective or no Belgae? Yes. So we're going down. Will the rally add an ally, Citadel, 3+ warbands, or Belgic control? Yeah, they could add an ally down here, and that's it. But it's a yes. So replace city ally with Citadel. Oh, they can do that too. Up here. Let's double check on their flowchart how a rally is going to work with the priorities and everything. So in each region, it's going to cost 1 or 2 if it's outside of Belgae. Oh, they only have 1. Oh my gosh. Okay, they only have 1 resource. So they would like to place an ally or replace their ally up here with a Citadel, but they can't because it's outside of the yellow shaded region here, and they only have 1 resource, so it costs too many resources. So, in fact, then this is going to be a no, unless we can place... Nope, there's not a spot where they can place in Belgae region, in the shaded region, where they could place 3+ warbands or get control. Do they have 0 to 3 resources and roll a 1 through 4? Here we go. Let's double check. They have 0 to 3 resources. They rolled a 2. That's a 1 through 4, so that's a yes. They are going to also raid. They're going to... Oh, I think they're raiding, though. Yeah, they're going to end up passing, I'm sure. Because their raid requires regions with hidden Belgae, and they only have revealed. They have no hidden Belgae anywhere. So that's going to be an if none situation, and they're going to pass. So whoop-de-doo, they get to pass, and they get 1 resource for their trouble. And, oops. So, get 1 resource there. And that is it. We can adjust the eligibility. Spoiler alert, though, the Dewey player is ineligible now, but throughout the winter card, they're going to become eligible again. So, what we're going to do is go through the winter card next time. But the card that comes after that is going to be sacking. It looks like the Arverni really want to do it. So we'll go through the winter next time and what all that means. And otherwise, this has been Falling Sky, and the Dewey almost slipped out of victory from out from underneath us there. So I'm really glad the Arverni were able to get another ally down up there. Again, till next time, thank you for watching.